can. This year, the legislature enacted a budget that reduces the state's flat personal income tax rate from 5.499 to 5.25 in January of 2019. In 2013, elected officials in Raleigh created an impressive pro-business policy agenda that reduced the state's corporate income tax from 6.9% in 2013 to 3% in 2017, which will drop to 2.5% in 2019. This pro-growth corporate income tax reduction has played a pivotal role in making North Carolina attractive to businesses. The state of North Carolina is a wonderful place to start a business and to live, and people from other states are moving to the state in droves. Migration rates to North Carolina consistently rank in the highest percentiles in the nation. Our state ranks second in lowest business costs in terms of labor, energy, and taxes. With rankings like that, it's no wonder that businesses rightly choose to operate out of North Carolina. As a former small business owner, it was a pleasure to hear that Forbes had recognized North Carolina's business bona fides. Thanks to the North Carolina legislature, small and big business in North Carolina are competitive on a domestic and global scale. Mr. Speaker, the officials in Raleigh worked hard to ensure North Carolina would become the most competitive state for business in the country. Here in Washington, we're building upon the success of North Carolina and bringing about a tested policy recipe for economic growth: fairer, simpler, and lower taxes. Whether you're an individual struggling to make sense of your tax burden before April 15th, or an American corporation that's trying to compete with America's competitors, or a small business that has faced the IRS's stifling complexity, you know that our tax code is broken. I've heard enough from 5th District families, businesses, millennials, and other budding entrepreneurs to know that Congress must act now to bring about the economic expansion that Americans need and deserve. That's why I was proud to cast my support in favor of H.R. 1, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Bill. This bill is Congress's answer to the will of the people. It delivers much-needed tax relief to taxpayers by lowering every marginal tax rate on the books that applies to working Americans. It enables our businesses to win here at home and expand our nation's job growth. It will boost paychecks for generations to come. By doubling the standard deduction, even more Americans will no longer need to itemize their deductions. For married couples filing jointly, this translates to $24,000 yearly that is free from federal taxes. By lowering the crippling taxes on businesses, workers will see an increase in their wages. A report from the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation found that a middle-income family in North Carolina would see its after-tax income increase by $2,366. The same foundation found that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act will create 975,000 new jobs nationally and grow wages by 4.4% for middle-income households. As we've seen in North Carolina, when governments simplify and lower taxes, citizens reap the rewards of economic expansion, job growth, and higher wages. Despite all of the hard work done by North Carolina's legislature, and despite our state being rated the #1 in which to do business, it's being held back by the federal tax code. The current tax code is littered with trillions of dollars in special interest tax breaks that have held people back. Even though North Carolina's #1, you'll find that the 4 highest earning counties in the United States are all near Washington, D.C. The spending of the federal government, fueled by the tax code and its giveaways, undermine the foundations of our economy. These special interest tax carve-outs are driven by, you guessed it, special interest. It's time to stop rewarding the closely connected here in Washington and keep taxpayer dollars where they belong, with American workers, job creators, and businesses. It's time the federal government stopped using the tax code to engineer people's decisions and allow Americans to live their lives based on their desire for higher wages, entrepreneurism, service, and economic exchange. I urge my colleagues to follow North Carolina's lead and support the Tax Cut and Jobs Act to lower taxes, increase paychecks, wages, and job growth, and fix the tax code. I yield back, Mr. Speaker.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Carter, for 5 minutes. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to recognize a very important song to the history of the state of Georgia, Kumbaya. The first known recording of Kumbaya took place in 1926 near Darien, Georgia. The original name